emphasize to Judge Kopkow the inexplicable nature of what he did is you can't understand it. Didn't when he pled guilty on November 6th. I never did during the course of any of this investigation, any of the interviews with him. I think that he shed a tear for himself. I think justice was served in the best way we can in Colorado right now. I think if somebody came up and put their hands around somebody's neck, the first thing a victim's going to do is grab onto the hands or the arms and try to pull them away, or scrape or claw or bite or whatever to try and get that person's hands off of their throat. There wasn't anything like that in Shanann. And his statement to investigators was, they were very clearly, obviously dead, so I decided to dispose of their bodies. You didn't call 911. You didn't try CPR. You didn't even check on them to see if they were breathing. When you hear that, you're thinking, this just doesn't.
On Tuesday, what did you think of his demeanor overall?
Yeah, it was very odd. He just was sitting there waiting for something to happen. The last time I talked to him, he said, I just want to cry. And I looked at him and said, why aren't you?
On Wednesday, everything changed.
A heartbreaking outcome to the story we have been tracking all week, the confession of a father.
I didn't know what to say or do. I don't know. I sat on our bed for I don't even know how long and didn't move because I didn't want to think that they weren't coming back.
Late Wednesday night, Watts is arrested. By Thursday, police were at the oil fields where Watts used to work, and within hours found 3 bodies. Court documents revealed they discovered Shanann's body in a shallow grave. The bodies of Bella and Celeste found submerged for days in oil tanks.
You have the right to counsel. You understand? Yes, sir.
In an interview with authorities, Watts filling in the blanks. According to an affidavit, he loaded all 3 bodies into the backseat of his work truck and took them to an oil work site.
If your wife...
Welcome to Dark Matters, True Crime, the channel where every case drags you deeper into the unknown. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore the darkest corners of the human mind.
7 years have passed, yet the story still moves like a cold draft through the corridors of true crime history. Time has softened nothing. If anything, the silence has grown sharper, cutting through the public's memory each time the Watts name resurfaces. And now, with distance from that summer morning in 2018, the narrative shifts, not because the facts have changed, but because the weight of them finally settles into place. 7 years later, the truth, the real truth, the human truth, demands to be spoken aloud. The story doesn't begin in a courtroom or in a confession room. It begins in the quiet hours before dawn, in a home that once held birthday candles and bedtime songs, a home that would become a hollow chamber of unanswered questions. On August 13th, that quiet suburb awakened to the absence of Shanann Watts and her 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste. Their disappearance wasn't yet a headline. It was a whisper carried by a worried friend and a neighbor who sensed something was terribly wrong. As officers stepped into the house, nothing seemed broken or chaotic, just strangely still. It felt as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. And in that stillness lived the unspoken truth. Sometimes evil announces itself not with violence, but with calm. 7 years later, we revisit these moments not for shock, but for clarity. For the understanding that truth is never a single statement or a single confession. It is the accumulation of choices, lies, omissions, and moments ignored. What Chris Watts said then is one version. What remains when we look back now is another. And the space between those versions is where the real story waits. If you want to journey deeper into the truth behind the silence, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Dark Matters True Crime, where the shadows are examined, not avoided.
Right now around your house?
Right now it's got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. And right now it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened? Your wife came home. Tell me what's...
She came home from the airport at 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here. And like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door Like I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say, but she never got back to me, but she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well. And that's what really concerned a lot of people, is like, if she's not getting back to her, like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine, like she gets busy during the day, but she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house and nothing was vanished, nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here, the kids weren't here. Nope, nobody was here.
What's your wife's name?
Shanann, Shanann.
What's your kids?
Bella and Celeste.
How do you spell Celeste?
Celeste.
How old are your daughters?
4, Bella's 4, Celeste is 3.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, what's going on? Like because after I called her and texted her once, it's like maybe she was just busy. Like she had just gotten back. Like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like. It registered like, all right, this isn't right.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think?
I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like I hope that she's somewhere safe right
7 years later, the red flags feel painfully obvious. Bright warnings glowing in retrospect like signals we all missed. But in real time, they were disguised as ordinary life. Small tensions slipped beneath the surface, quiet resentments folded into daily routines, and the subtle unraveling of a man who appeared steady to everyone except the people who lived closest to him. Chris Watts had always been described as soft-spoken, unremarkable in the way that made him seem safe. But beneath that calm exterior, something had been shifting. His weight loss, once seen as a fitness kick, grew extreme. His sudden increases in confidence and changes in behavior sat unexplained. Friends noticed the distance widening between him and Sean but dismissed it. Marriages have seasons, after all. No one imagined these were the final tremors before an earthquake. Sean saw more than she said aloud. Her texts revealed frustration, confusion, and fear of a man she no longer fully recognized. She sensed the emotional absence, the indifference replacing affection. Her attempts to fix the marriage were met with cool detachment, a void where her husband used to be. And then there was the secret he guarded, the affair that rewired his priorities and justified the impossible inside his mind. 7 years later, the truth behind that relationship is clearer. It wasn't love, not really. It was escape, a fantasy where the burdens of responsibility vanished, and a new identity could be constructed from the ashes of the old. These red flags weren't mere signs of marital struggle. They were prelude breadcrumbs leading toward a tragedy no one dared imagine. And looking back from the vantage point of 7 years, it becomes undeniable. The truth was already there, shimmering beneath the surface. We simply didn't know how to read it. If you want to uncover what came next, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications where the darkest truths are brought into the light. By the time the crime unfolded in the early hours of August 13, 2018, the truth had already been quietly forming in the dark. The choices that led to that moment were not explosive but gradual. Small betrayals of character, each one nudging Chris Watts further from the man he once appeared to be. 7 years later, the crime is no less horrifying, but its shape is clearer. It was not an instant rupture, but an unraveling. According to verified investigative records, Chris killed Sean shortly after she returned home from a work trip in the early morning hours. What followed was chilling in its precision and calmness. Details confirmed through his own admissions and the forensic timeline. He transported Shannon's body, along with daughters Bella and Celeste, to a remote oil site owned by his employer. There, the unthinkable continued. The bodies of Bella and Celeste were placed in separate oil tanks, while Sean was buried in a shallow grave nearby. Investigators later stated that the crime bore no signs of spontaneity. Rather, it suggested a sequence of deliberate choices. What haunted the public, and still does 7 years later, is the way Chris moved through those hours with a cold, eerie sense of control. No panic, no hesitation, a darkness so quiet it felt almost rehearsed. And the aftermath only deepened the horror. Chris returned home, texted coworkers, spoke with neighbors, and even stood in front of news cameras pleading for his family's return, all while knowing exactly where they were. That false performance remains one of the most chilling parts of this case. 7 years later, the truth of that night no longer feels like a mystery. It feels like a revelation of who Chris had already become long before the crime occurred. For the next chapter, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications where we continue uncovering the cold reality behind the Watts tragedy. The cover-up began the moment the crime ended, stitched together with the same eerie calm Chris carried through the night. 7 years later, the investigation reads like a blueprint of deception, one that crumbled the moment light touched it. But in those first hours, Chris believed he had crafted something airtight, a story so ordinary it might smother suspicion before it had the chance to spark. He sent Sean a message from her own phone, a hollow attempt to create the illusion that she was still alive. He backed his truck into the garage in the pre-dawn darkness, a move later caught on a neighbor's surveillance camera, footage that would become one of the investigation's most pivotal pieces.
What's that?
Nothing on there. You just have my camera. Truck up to the garage. Lay down.
Loaded my stuff up in my coolers, my water jugs, my book bag, my computers, some of the tools that I had from the toolbox. I knew I was going to have to do some pumping into rubbers today. That's why I was out so far.
Is this on continually
Yep.
recording?
Yep. Well,
It's not, is it motion or is it?
event,
Okay, so it's motion.
any motion event that happens, but I get cars driving from this street, and this is him at 517.
I usually park out there on the side. I just want to get everything back in. Be easier to lugging everything out there, all the tools that I had to bring in. What else can I do with this?
My detective just showed up, so he'll probably want to talk to you. He'd probably, like I said, he might have you call like the bank and see if there's any kind of activity.
Because if there was any sort of action out there,
His camera's
I would have got it.
like
Right.
we had issues the other week when people were stealing stuff out of like garages and stuff like that, and I had parked my truck
I
up
had
here.
to park right here.
Yeah. So someone,
See if
I could
anything
see where
happened.
someone tried to jimmy with a flathead screwdriver over there, and it was just like,
But if any action would have happened, any cars or anything left your house, I would
yeah, if it
have.
would have been like right in that area, they should have picked. I mean,
Oh, it'll pick up anything coming down the street this way.
you know where that tree there too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Watch, I'll show you. There's nothing on here. We've already watched that one. But like, you'll see this car.
What security system do you have?
This car. You can see this car starting to drive down the street.
That one.
Oh, look.
See what I'm saying? It picks up all the way down there.
He's next door.
Can we go?
I was talking about dispatcher. He'll be close for.
But yeah, we can pick up cars coming this way. I get anything coming this way and making this turn. So, and usually at night I pick up the cars pulling a U turn. So, unless they pulled right here,
Yeah.
but I would have caught her walking out. Diesel.
Pretty good.
But yeah, I thought nothing.
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks. That's why her friend said it was low blood sugar.
And see, I've got her friend leaving out here at 2 in the morning, I think. So, my camera. Did you go check if anything was missing around your house?
There wasn't nothing. It was like all the old blankets and the and then her winter was on the nightstand. Her phone was still there.
She dropped her off at 1 in the morning, right?
She's my doorbell said 1:48. She came in.
Okay. It's not on this one, it'll be on this one.
He texted coworkers with casual updates, visited job sites, and carried himself with the rhythm of a man following a script written in haste but delivered with unsettling confidence. But the truth always leaves residue. Detectives noticed immediately that the house felt staged. Beds made too neatly, rooms unnaturally quiet, Shannon's belongings untouched. The neighbor's security footage contradicted Chris's movements. His emotional responses, flat, calculated, nagged at investigators who had seen too many guilty men hide behind the same mask. Then there was the digital trail. Deleted messages, secret apps, and search history patterns that painted a profile of a man preparing to sever himself from his old life. The affair he tried to conceal became a catalyst, one that stripped away the veneer he fought to maintain. When Chris finally confessed, the cover-up shattered, revealing what investigators already sensed. The truth had been sitting in plain sight, humming beneath every lie he attempted to construct. To continue down this path of truth, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications where the shadows of this case continue to unfold. When the truth finally ripped through the seams of Chris Watts's carefully constructed lie, the legal machinery moved with a force that felt both inevitable and devastating. The courtroom became the place where illusion died. 7 years later, the proceedings still echo, not because of dramatic outbursts or contested arguments, but because of the suffocating weight of what was already known before the first word was spoken. Prosecutors presented a case shaped by clarity, not confusion. They had the digital footprints, the surveillance video, the forensic evidence, and the confession that spilled out once the pressure of his deception became unbearable. In the end, there was nothing left for Chris to fight. His guilty plea came swiftly, almost quietly, as though the final act of a man who had run out of stories to tell. He pleaded guilty to multiple counts of murder, including the deaths of his pregnant wife and his daughters. Charges weighted with the full gravity of their lives. The courtroom, usually a place of arguments and counterarguments, became instead a solemn chamber of acknowledgement. There was no trial, no lengthy battle, just the cold acceptance of what he had done. The judge delivered 5 life sentences, 3 consecutive, 2 concurrent, ensuring that Chris would never again touch freedom. There was no death penalty on the table. Prosecutors spared the family from reliving the horror through a drawn-out capital case. 7 years later, the sentencing remains a stark reminder that justice can feel both absolute and insufficient. The law answered with permanence, but the losses it sought to address were immeasurable. The truth had spoken, loudly and irrevocably, but even truth can feel too small in the shadow of such a crime. In the months and years that followed the sentencing, the emotional landscape left behind was jagged. Raw in places where healing had barely begun, scorched in others where it would never fully return. 7 years later, the echoes of this crime still ripple through the families and communities who once orbited around Sean and Bella and Celeste. Their absence became a permanent outline, shaping every gathering, every memory, every attempt to move forward. Shannon's family carried the impossible task of grieving a daughter and grandchildren while navigating a world that suddenly wanted answers, interviews, explanations. They didn't ask for the spotlight. It landed on them like debris from an explosion. Their pain became public record, their heartbreak replayed in slow motion for the world to dissect. And yet, even in grief, they held onto the memory of who Shannon was, not how she died. Her voice, her drive, her relentless love for her children became the anchor that kept their sorrow from consuming them whole.
Shannon's mother. I wanted to say thank you for this moment. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has prayed for our beloved family, who had sent gifts, cards to us from all over the world. I know God will put the evil people where they need to be. I also want to take the time to thank the town of Frederick, Greeley, FBI, the DA's office, the CBI, for exceptional work. We thank Nicole Atkinson, Shannon's neighbor Nathan, and his family. To me, they're our heroes. They really are. God bless. God makes no mistakes on who he puts in your life. Marriage is about love, trust, and friendship and unity. We marry for sickness and health, to death do us part. Our daughter Shannon loved you with all of her heart. Your children loved you to the moon and back. Shannon's family was her world. Shannon put a crown on your head. But unfortunately, the day that you took their life, God removed that crown. We loved you like a son. We trusted you. Your faithful wife trusted you. Your children adored you, and they also trusted you. Your daughter Bella Marie sang a song proudly. I don't know if you got to see it, but it was, "Daddy, you're my hero." I have no idea who gave you the right to take their lives. But I know God and his mighty angels were there at that moment to bring them home to paradise. God gives us free will. So not only did you take the family of four, your family of four, you took your own life. I want the world to know that our daughter and her children were so loved by us. There will always be protected by God and his mighty angels. I didn't want death for you because that's not my right. Your life is between you and God now, and I pray that he has mercy for you. From Shannon's mother, Bella Marie, Celeste Catherine, and Nico Lee's Nana. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to say to the courts that Shannon, Bella, and Nico love and caring people. They love life. They love being around people who love them. They always had good times. This is the first time they went to the beach this year, and they loved it. But God only knows what happened that night. Life will never be the same without Shannon, Bella, and Celeste, and Nico. Had all their lives to live. They were taken by a heartless one. This is the heartless one, the evil monster, who dare you take the lives of my daughter Shannon, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. And they also trusted you. The heartless monster, and then you take them out like trash. You disgust me. They were loving and caring people. You may have taken their bodies from me, but you will never take the love they had for me. They loved us more than you will ever know. Because you don't know what love is. Because if you did, you would not have killed them. You monster. Thought you would get away with this. I don't know how. The cameras do not lie. You carry them out like trash of the house. Yes. I seen the videotape. You buried my daughter Shannon and Nico in a shallow grave. And then you put Bella and Celeste in huge containers of crude oil. You heartless monster. You have to live with this vision every day of your life. And I hope you see that every time you close your eyes at night. Oh, I forgot. You have no heart or feelings or love. Let me tell you something. I will think of them every day of my life. And I love them every day of my life. Prison is too good for you. This is hard to say, but may God have mercy on your soul. I hope you enjoy your new life. It's nothing like the one you had out here. May the courts have no mercy on you. It's hard every day. It hurts in so many ways. I have heard people say that you're not a monster. No, you are not. You're an evil monster. Thank you. Love you, Shannon, Bella, and Nico. Love you, Pop and Dad. And one other thing. And Shannon says she is super excited for justice today. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
The community in Frederick, Colorado also felt the weight. The quiet street, once ordinary, became a place people whispered about. Neighbors replayed the days before the crime, searching for signs they might have missed. The house itself, a symbol of hope for a young family, was transformed into a dark landmark, an unsettling reminder of how easily a life can fracture behind closed doors. 7 years later, the emotional aftermath has not faded. If anything, it has matured into something heavy but resolute. The people who loved Sean and the girls learned to live around the wound, not over it. Their strength didn't erase the tragedy. It simply refused to let it define every memory. To continue this journey with us, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications where we honor the lives behind every story we tell.
They have the thing flipped up here.
Oh, what about the garage door?
I don't
Is
know.
there? Do you mind calling him and seeing if we can get a passcode to this and get me permission to go in?
Okay.
I'm just gonna check the back, see if I can see anything. Right. I just want to look in all the windows, make sure I don't see anything out of. Do they? Oh, it doesn't?
You can't enter the house unless you see signs of.
Yep, I've got to have more unless I get consent from him to go in.
And if you don't, you can't enter.
Because it could be grandparents came and picked them up. You know, it could be a lot of things. She left her phone. Her phone's dead.
And it doesn't change anything even if they are pregnant.
No, I mean,
It's different rules, but they're all about the
yeah,
same. You're just able to
you've got your Fourth Amendment rights to the house.
Yep.
I can't violate that.
Yep. Told her.
That's why.
She's like, "They'll break down the door." I'm like, "No, they won't."
No, not. I mean, if I saw her laying on the ground, something like that.
You saw signs of a fight or anything?
Kids were. I could get a hold of the kids. No, mom's not answering.
Can't do much.
I got nothing right now though.
"7 years later, the truth carries a different weight. It hangs in the air like a dense, unmoving fog, something you don't walk through so much as something that settles on you. Because the truth of this case didn't end with a confession or a sentencing. It grew in the aftermath, in the strange territory where the public's morbid fascination met the family's desperate need for privacy. And out of that collision came the questions that still linger today. In prison, Chris began offering new versions of the story, confessions rewritten, details altered, motivations reshaped. Each retelling contradicted the last, creating a labyrinth of shifting narratives. Psychologists called it self-preservation. Investigators called it manipulation. Others saw it as the last shred of control he still possessed. But the effect was the same. The truth became tangled, distorted by the man who had already erased so much. 7 years later, people still ask why. Not in the abstract, but in the painfully specific sense. Why this crime? Why this family? Why this absolute annihilation of the life he built? And the answers, if they exist at all, live somewhere between psychological unraveling and cold, deliberate choice. The truth also shifted for the survivors. Shannon's family confronted a torment few can imagine. The knowledge that Chris continued to speak, to give interviews, to shape narratives about the people he destroyed. They confronted rumors, conspiracy theories, and strangers who tried to rewrite the case for entertainment or shock value. Their grief became something they had to protect. 7 years later, the truth is not a single statement. It is a constellation. Some pieces bright, some obscured, all part of a night sky that will never fully clear. And the question that remains is whether Chris himself even knows the unbroken truth, or whether he buried that alongside everything else. To stay with us as we reach the final chapter, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. 7 years later, we stand at the edge of a story that still refuses to settle. The facts are known. The sentences are final. The confessions, however shifting, have been spoken. And yet the case of Chris Watts remains one of those rare tragedies that continues to whisper long after the courtroom doors closed. Not because there is more evidence to uncover, but because the human mind struggles to reconcile the simplicity of the truth with the enormity of the loss. The truth is that no new story has emerged to change what happened. No hidden reports. No sealed files waiting to explode. What remains now is reflection. A long, steady look at how an ordinary life can conceal extraordinary darkness. The truth he speaks now from behind concrete walls is no clearer than the truth he offered in 2018. Time has not granted him wisdom, only distance. And perhaps that is why the case still feels unfinished. Not because of hidden facts, but because the explanation for a crime like this will never feel complete. In the aftermath of 7 years, the real truth belongs not to Chris, but to the memory of Sean and Bella, Celeste, and unborn baby Nico. Their lives, full of color, noise, love, and hope, are the parts of the story that time does not erode.
Bye, Frisa. Bye, Frisa.
Hey, baby! Yes, your popcorn?
Do you want a brother or a sister?
Sister.
You want a little sister?
Yeah.
You want to be a big sister?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Go, Cece. Go, Bella. Careful, Cece. You're going to get dizzy. You're going to get dizzy, Cece. You're going to get dizzy. Blow on it, Cece. No, don't let her touch the plate. No, 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 no. Blow on it, Cece. Okay, look. Blow. Cece, blow. Say hi, Cece. Hi. Look at this monster. This is what I deal with. Like, she's a monster. Don't you jump off the couch. Oh. I'm sitting right here, Mama. She's a monster. Like, she doesn't stop. Like, seriously, this kid hasn't napped today. No, don't stand on my legs, baby. My life. You want more cereal?
Yeah, I wipe it.
I'll wipe it.
It's boo-boo.
It's a boo-boo. Cece, are you hungry? Celeste. Hey, are you hungry?
Yeah.
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 Cereal.
I wipe it.
We'll wipe it. So, I feel really blessed this summer. I'm going to San Diego with Chris. We're going June 22nd through the 26th. No, the 26th we come home at 1:30 in the morning. And then the 26th, that afternoon at 5:30 at night, Bella, Cece, and I and my dad are flying back to North Carolina for 6 weeks. 6 weeks we're going to be in North Carolina, Cece, right? And we're going to go spend time with our families and friends and everything else. And then we're going to come back August 7th. And then I fly to Scottsdale, Arizona on the 11th for a mini little retreat with my team. And we're going to have a lot of fun. What are you doing? This child does not sit still ever. Look at this. Bella, say hi. Bella, say hi. And I really love the fact that careful, Cece, there's a table there. Child. Yeah, day in the life with Cece. And just feel blessed that we can do that. We can travel the world. One day Chris can travel that long with us. You wonder why I need Thrive. That kid right there. Cece. Thrive is a must.
They are the truth that remains unshaken. And so the case leaves us with a question that disturbs as much as it compels. How does a person walk so far from the life they built that the destruction of it feels like an option? And if the answer cannot be found in evidence or confessions, does it live somewhere deeper, in the quiet fractures of a human soul? For more stories that ask the questions the darkness tries to hide,
Say goodbye to everybody.
like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Cece, blow kisses. You're adorable.
What are you doing, Cece? Are you stuck?
Do you like the snow? Let me see. Is that snow? Is it cold? It's snow. Are you putting on your toes? Oh no. On the floor. Do you want to go play in the snow?
Cold.
It is cold, baby. Shut the door.
I'm not cold.
It is cold.
I'm cold.
I know, baby. It's cold. So rub it on the door. Oh, you're putting on your toes? It's cold.
More.
You want more?
Yes. I'm cold.
I know it's cold.